Hello and welcome to another edition of Spoiler Alert here on the sunny side up. We are well into the second week of lockdown here in Lebanon, but lots of other countries around the world also still under lockdown as well, which somehow makes me feel a little bit better. I don't know about you all, but I cherish those precious few quiet hours at the end of the night when the kids have gone to sleep and I can finally veg out on the couch to watch something other than Paw Patrol or Peppa Pig. By this point, I think I know the storylines off by heart and I can give you a full synopsis of every episode. But don't worry though, this segment is definitely not about kids' shows, so you can breathe a sigh of relief. I've got lots to talk to you about today, so let's dive right in. The movie I am shining the spotlight on today is On the Rocks, available on Apple TV+, written and directed by Sofia Coppola, who is behind The Virgin Suicides, Marie Antoinette, and of course Lost in Translation, which also had Bill Murray starring in it. In this new dramatic comedy, Bill is excellent, playing the father of a woman, portrayed by Rashida Jones from Parks and Recreation, who suspects that her husband may be having an affair, even as she falls into a rut in her life with kids and a workaholic husband, compounded by writer's block as well. To try and gain some perspective, she seeks the advice of her playboy father, and equal amounts of comedy and drama ensue. Her journey not only echoes the trials and pitfalls of married life, of the happily ever after of real life that we are never warned about, but also explores the scars incurred when a marriage of a parent fails and the children inevitably pay the price. The script was, in a word, excellent, and Bill Murray hit all the right notes, somehow managing to be humorous as well as tragic in one fell swoop. For those with Apple TV+, this is a definite must for your to-see list. Now, this time of year is always extremely exciting, with many shows starting up and continuing their subsequent season. That means we have lots to talk about in the TV series section. We start off by checking out The Morning Show on Apple TV+. It was one of the first shows available when Apple's streaming service was launched. It flew under the radar for most people, but many will agree that once you watch it, you are pleasantly surprised. Starring Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and Steve Carell, who are all comedy veterans in their own rights, yet we see them in this dramatic series together. The show gives us an inside look of the lives of the people who help America wake up in the morning, partially exploring the unique challenges faced by men and women who carry out this daily televised ritual, but also delving into the effects of the Me Too movement in a way that is equally thought-provoking and balanced, since it's shown from differing viewpoints. As the tagline of the show says, the news is only half the story, and when you watch this, you gain a new appreciation of the news, the people behind it, and how much they are not saying. Next on the list is Marvel's 616 on Disney+. For those of you out there who are die-hard Marvel fans and have access to the new streaming of Disney+, this new TV show documentary merits a place in your to-watch list. The title of this docu-anthology is a reference to Earth 616, the universe in which most Marvel comics take place, with 8 episodes that explore the history and impact that the MCU has had in pop culture. From the very first episode, which delves into the history of the Japanese Spider-Man, to exploring feminine superheroes and how cosplay is actually much more than just playing dress-up, and how Marvel characters are continuing to inspire young minds in theatre. Prepare to be surprised, inspired, and entertained by the stories from 616. Now we get to this week's featured book, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Imagine if you could change lives and live the story portrayed in a book. Imagine if you could do that multiple times just by simply choosing a different book from a library beyond the universe. That's exactly what Matt's new book is all about. What is first most striking about his book is the teaser on the cover. One library, infinite lives. It's an intriguing concept which makes you want to dive right in. The chapters are brief and resemble snapshots of emotions that we all feel from time to time. Despair, isolation, hopelessness. But as you continue reading, you are drawn to the personal quest of the book's protagonist, her search for happiness as she jumps from one life to the next. Perhaps the most distinctive thing about this story is that it really taps into the side of the psyche that can be overwhelming to some in these difficult times when many of us have too much time to look back and say those ominous two words, if only. There's nothing worse than starting a great show and getting really into it only to find out that you have to wait a whole year for the next season to come out. Now during lockdown, there's no better time to binge watch some classic shows that have ended already, with the satisfaction of knowing that you can start it and watch it in its entirety. If you use technology on a daily basis and enjoy entertainment that is also thought-provoking, then this first recommendation is one for you. Person of Interest. It began in 2012 and ran for 5 seasons. The basic premise is that of a crime thriller about an off-the-grid CIA agent who teams up with a mysterious billionaire to prevent violent crimes in New York. As you watch the series, you are drawn into the characters' lives as a main aspect of the show, as opposed to a standard crime cop show that's all about getting the bad guy. However, there is another character which you don't see, which is that of the Machine, an AI built for surveillance with the task of preventing acts of terror, but that sees everything else, including premeditated crimes of violence and murder. It stars Jim Caviezel from The Count of Monte Cristo and Angel Eyes, Michael Emerson from Lost, along with Taraji P. Henson from Empire and Hidden Figures. The quality of the cast is exceptional and makes all the difference in the episodes where you never know who the bad guy is, even when it comes to the main and recurring characters, and whether such Big Brother technology is a good thing or, as one of the characters describes it, an Orwellian nightmare. After all, with everything that we post of ourselves on social media and how dependent we are on our devices, is there even such a thing as a secret that cannot be uncovered from the digital ether anymore? Food for thought as you watch this show. Lots to chew on today, so you should be all set with things to watch and read for the rest of this week's lockdown. A big thanks to all those viewers who have sent me suggestions and reviews on shows and movies. I really appreciate your input, so please keep it coming. Catch me again next week here on Spoiler Alert for some more recommendations and reviews. Until then, stay safe everyone, and see you soon.